Norm Van Brocklin's resurgent Minnesota Vikings are host to the hapless Detroit Lions. The Vikings have won their last 2 outings, including last week's shocking upset of the Packers. After winning 2 of their first 3 games, the Lions hope to get back on the victory trail for the first time in 6 weeks. It's a clear day, the temperature 40 degrees. The NFL Game of the Week. The Detroit Lions against the Minnesota Vikings. Detroit's ball, 1st and 10 at their own 33. Sweet Tan to Studstill. "20 yards and a first down at the Viking 47. Amos Marsh for 3 yards. Nowatzki. But Carl Eller and Dixon bring him down for a loss. On 4th down, Garo Yepremian attempts a field goal from the 48. It is no good. The Vikings with the football, 1st and 10 at the 32. Tarkington's pass to Brown is good for 19 yards and a first down. Osborne for 3 more yards. Third and 7 now at the Detroit 46. And Francis is going to run. And run he does for 20 yards and a first down at the Detroit 26. This is another 3rd down situation, and again, Tarkenton is going to run. And picks up 6 yards. Osborne up in the air for 3 yards. A first down at the Detroit 14. Osborne again with the ball. 5 more yards. And Brown is stopped for no gain. And on 4th down, Fred Cox attempts a field goal from the 15. It is good. And Minnesota gets on the scoreboard 3-0. This modern vamp pleased with the way things are going. Detroit with the ball at their own 26. Sweet Tan to Cogdill for 9 yards. And Amos Marsh gets 4 yards. Second down now, and Sweet Tan being rushed. Finally flips it away to Kramer. But the play loses 5 yards. Tommy Myers in at quarterback now for Detroit in place of Carl Sweet Tan. This pass intended for Kramer, but it's intercepted by Dale Hackbart. And Hackbart is off to the races. 41 yards and a Minnesota touchdown. On the ground repeat, you can see a hard rush by 81 Carl Eller forced Myers to throw early. And once Hackbart had intercepted, he had a clear path to the end zone. The score, Minnesota 10, Detroit nothing. Sweet Tan back in for Detroit. pass to Cogdill is good for 21 yards and a first down at the Detroit 48 as the first period ends. It's been a long time between victories for the Lions, and as this second quarter begins, they trail 10-0. Sweetan to Nowatzki, good for 11 yards. Again, it's to Nowatzki. 12 yards and a first down. On fourth down, Ephraim attempts a field goal from the 33-yard line, and it's good. And the score is now 10-3. The Vikings with the football at their own 23. Tarkenton's pass to Rensel. It is ruled complete for pass interference at the Minnesota 43. Tarkenton firing long. But there is Thompson to take the ball for Detroit on an interception. And he brings it back to the Lion 42-yard line. Watch 81 come rushing in. Carl Eller. And put down Sweetan for a loss of 8. Third and long yardage here at the Detroit 34. Studd still has it. And on a nifty run, picks up 30 yards and a first down at the Viking 30. Nowatzki picks up 4 more. Sweetan to Ron Kramer. 7 yards, and Detroit has the first down. Once again, it is third down as Sweetan goes for broke. Studd still alone in the end zone. But it is incomplete. And on fourth down, Ephraim attempts a field goal from the 26. It is good. And the score now is Minnesota 10, Detroit 6, as the Lions move closer on the Little Cypriot's precise kicking. Wayne Walker kicking off for the Lions. Taken by Phil King. And the King brings it back to the Minnesota 42. Brown picks up 5 yards. Tarkenton running. Now he's throwing to Brown. 4 yards, but there's a flag on the play and a penalty. It sets the Vikings back, and on fourth down, Walden punts. A fair catch signaled for by Vaughn on the 25. And there's the flag, and Minnesota is penalized 15 yards for interference by Jordan on Vaughn. First and 10 at the Detroit 41. Sweetan to Nowatzki. 4 yards. Third down and long yardage. Sweetan to Studd still. And it's good enough for the first down, as Minnesota is now penalized here 15 yards for a personal foul. The Vikings piled up over 160 yards in penalties 2 weeks ago against San Francisco. And Norm Van Brocklin's promise of rough play for the Packers never materialized last week. However, Harry Gilmer's Lions know they're in for a Pier 6 brawl. Sweet-Tan to Studstill. Good for 10 yards. Sweet-Tan slips but gets the pass away to Kramer. 8 yards and a first down deep in Minnesota territory. Incomplete. Intended there for Cogdill. And on fourth down, Yepremian. A field goal attempt from the 15-yard line. It is good. And Detroit creeps back. It is Minnesota 10, Detroit 9. The Vikings on the move again from their own 20. Brown picks up 6 yards. Down the middle, but there is Lucci to pick it off for Detroit. And takes it deep into Minnesota territory with just 6 seconds left for half. Detroit sets up a field goal attempt. Yepremian from the 20-yard line. It is good, and as the half ends, Detroit edges in front 12-10. At halftime, the Lions lead the Vikings 12-10 on 4 field goals by the big Y, Garo Yepremian, and a staunch defense. Yepremian's accurate place kicking gave impetus to a Lion offense which sputtered on key situations. 1st and 10 here in the third period, and Sweet-Tan's pass is intercepted by Ed Shirachman. But Minnesota is offsides and penalized 5 yards. So it's 1st and 5 at the Detroit 42. Sweet-Tan goes back to the air, and Shirachman is there again. This time the interception sticks as Shirachman takes it all the way down to the 17-yard line. Osborne picks up 5 more yards. And now from ground level, watch Brown as he cuts through and booms his way down to the 1-yard line. And Osborne is in for the touchdown. And Minnesota regains the lead 17-12. Detroit on the move now, but Sweet-Tan trying to pass has the ball knocked out of his hands by Marshall, and the fumble is recovered by Winston on the Detroit 12. The pitch out to Brown. And it's a Minnesota touchdown. The Vikings come right back and now lead 24-12. The Vamp is back, and so are the Vikings, whose 2 quick TDs have vaulted them into a 24-12 advantage. Sweet-Tan hits Studstill for 8 yards. It's Sweet-Tan to Cogdill for 10 more yards. Sweet-Tan to Studstill for 14. Sweet-Tan to Kramer for 7. This time to Cogdill for 7 more yards and a first down at the Viking 40-yard line. And Sweet-Tan picks up 8 yards. But on 4th down, Yepremian is back with a field goal attempt from the 40. It is no good, short and to the right. And the Vikings take over at their own 20. First down. Down the middle. And Mike Lucci picks off his second pass at the 25. Let's see a repeat from ground level. Ernie Clark's blitz causes Tarkenton to release too soon. And Lucci is there for a second interception of the afternoon. Detroit's ball at the Minnesota 22. And Nowatzki gets inside the 20. Ron Kramer to the 11-yard line. Studstill at the 5. Third down now at the 5-yard line. Sweetan throwing, harassed, hits Flanagan, an ineligible receiver. And Detroit is penalized 15 yards to the 20-yard line. Eller putting the big rush on Sweetan then, forces them into a field goal. Yepremian from the 22. It is good. And the score, Minnesota 24, Detroit 15. Vikings ball at their own 20. This pass to Osborne is good for 4 yards. And this one is picked off by Vaughn of Detroit at the 40-yard line. And goes to the 24-yard line of Minnesota. Detroit back in and knocking at the door. Being rushed here. Throws it off to John Gordy. Illegal. And Detroit again penalized 15 yards and the loss of a down. Second down from the Minnesota 39. Studstill takes it for 8 yards. Tan takes it for 6, but it's short of the first down. And on fourth down, the Lions set up a field goal attempt. Yepremian from the 32. It is good, and the score is now Minnesota 24, Detroit 18. That field goal by Yepremian set a new NFL record, 6 field goals in one game. Fourth quarter begins now with Minnesota, 1st and 10 at the 21. Six yards for Brown. And now the Detroit defense pulls down Tarkington as Alex Karras drops him for a loss, and the Vikings have to give up the football. Bobby Walden punts it. Vaughn takes it for Detroit. Back to the Viking 43. Amos Marsh. Fumble. And picked up by Kasulki for Minnesota. Well, the Vikings get the football right back. And Tarkington hits Press Carpenter. 21 yards and a first down at the Viking 40. Barnes for 4 yards. Third down and 6 for Tarkington. But again, it's Mike Lucci, the Detroit linebacker. And on his third interception of the day, he goes 67 yards for the touchdown. And Detroit goes out in front, 25-24. The Vikings trailing by 1 now, have it 2nd and 7. And it's batted down by Roger Brown. Again, Detroit holds, and the Vikings are forced to punt. Walden's kick is taken by Robinson, a beautiful long one. And Robinson is off to the races. A 64-yard return to the Minnesota 16. Nowatzki gets 4 yards. Sweetan hits Studstill on a quick one, and Studstill gets the 1st and goal to go. The handoff to Phelps. And it's a Detroit touchdown. From ground level, watch Phelps as he steps on Big John Gordy right into the end zone. And Detroit leads Minnesota 32-24. The Vikings now with time running out. They trail 32-24. Tarkington hits Rensel. Third down and 1 at the Minnesota 38. Brown gets the 1st down. Tarkington is going to run. He does for 21 yards and a 1st down at the Detroit 34. Tarkington to Hall, but he can't hold on to it. Second down and 10 now at the Detroit 34. Tarkington to Billy Ray Barnes, and it's good. A 1st down at the Detroit 14. The pitch out to Brown. Good for 6 yards. The ball at the Lion 8-yard line. Billy Ray Barnes goes down to the 3. 1st and goal to go for the Vikings. Billy Ray Barnes in for the touchdown. And the score is now Detroit 32, Minnesota 31. With 1 minute and 26 seconds left on the clock, the Vikings get the ball back and launch a last-minute drive. From their own 32-yard line, Tarkington hits Phillips. 14 yards and a 1st down. Tarkington to Barnes, but the ball is shaken loose, and it is ruled incomplete. 1:16 left. 3rd down. And Tarkington is swarmed under. The ball is fumbled, but recovered by Minnesota. It is now 4th down, 22 yards for the 1st down. 1 minute and 4 seconds left. Tarkington for Phillips, but it is broken up by Dick LeBeau. Detroit gets the football now with less than a minute to play. Trying to run out the clock. And now the action really starts. After 59 minutes and 30 seconds of football, the boys begin to get a little busy. Who said it wasn't a contact sport? But the clock finally does run out, and the Detroit Lions edge past the Minnesota Vikings 32-31 on 6 field goals by Yepremian for a new NFL record and 3 big interceptions by Mike Lucci.